So today, or tonight I should say, considering that it is like nearly 10 past night at night, I am going to be stitching on this one, which is called Horse Portrait, and it is by Just Stitching, which is an eBay company. This was one that was bought by my mother-in-law quite a few years ago, so I just decided that I'd go ahead and stitch it anyway. So I thought that I would do a quicker stitch with me on this one. I've got a chance where I might not get disturbed too much. The partner's in his computer room and the son is in his bedroom trying to learn guitar, because he bought himself a guitar. So yeah, that is just brilliant. I am going to have to put up with him.
Ready for a show?
I am going to have to put up with him trying to learn guitar. He's going to have fun, me not so much, with all the noise and the bad chords and whatever else he decides that he's going to put me through. But yes, he decided that he wants to learn guitar. He has been doing a few music group therapy session type things, and yeah, so he decided that he would learn guitar and yeah, you know, buy himself a guitar. We tried to convince him just to get a second-hand one to start with, but no, he wanted to go with a brand new guitar. So he saved up money from his shifts at work, at my work. He does do a few shifts here and there, and yeah, so bought himself a brand new guitar, and he got himself a strap and all that sort of stuff to go with it. So, you know, but yes, now we're going to have to put up with that sound until he actually gets better at playing it. And then he was asking me how I'd hold a guitar, and I just picked it up, and as I would, and because I write with my left hand, of course, that is the one that I feel most comfortable strumming the strings with. So I would basically be classed as a left-hand guitar player, which would mean I'd have to have a specially made guitar. But then I swung it around and it felt just as comfortable playing it right-handed as what it was left-handed. So I would probably be able to learn how to do both. But yeah, anyway guys, so today it is going to be a stitch with me. I don't know how long it will go for, because I don't know how much I've actually got to chat about. And it is, I don't know when you guys will see this. It is Thursday the 20th, I think it is, of February 2025. So you may see this in a couple of days. I know it's a little bit later than probably in the week than what I thought it was going to be, but this is the only chance that I thought that I would have to do a stitch with me. Alright, so yeah, I really haven't got much to talk about. Let's see if I made any notes in the back of my diary about what I can chat about. Not really. I haven't made any notes, so we're just gonna ramble. So let's see what has happened since my last stitch with me, or my last update. Let's see. Not a lot. I have been working. Work has been extremely quiet for the moment, but it is that time of year. Usually January, February are our quietest hours, months of the year anyway. It's mainly because here in Australia we have our summer holidays that start just before Christmas and for the schools, and then they don't really go back until, well, this year they didn't go back until the first week of February. So they had 7 weeks off, the kids. So I put it down to we're quiet in January, February because no one has any money left to spend. They have spent it all on Christmas and buying all their munchkins, all their back to school stuff and all that kind of stuff. And really, it's twice as expensive to go out for a meal with 2 kids, and then it is just yourself. So, and I can tell you, I would not want to be going out with young kids anymore to a restaurant or a cafe. When I go out, I want to go out and be in peace. So, yeah, that is I think that is why we're so quiet. And the other thing is, everyone, the financial situation, the economic situation is not the best. I mean, people can't afford to buy groceries, who can afford to go out? The problem with hospitality and being a restaurant or a cafe is you're usually the first ones that get dropped from the luxury budget, because let's admit it, we are a luxury. It's a luxury to go out and buy a meal and have it cooked for you by someone else. And if you're spending $50-$60 for the two of you on a meal and a couple of drinks, that $50-$60 can get you groceries at the supermarket that could probably make you a bigger meal. So yeah, it is a little bit hard at the moment. We should start ramping up though in work situations coming into March, hopefully. Usually we have a few weddings and that in March, April, because it's our autumn season and it is quite lovely. The weather is lovely, not too hot, not too cold. You get the cooler nights and the very fresh mornings, and then the days are lovely. Usually sit around 27-28 degrees Celsius. I love autumn and I love spring because it's the same thing. You get the cooler nights, fresh mornings, and the warmer temperatures through the day, but you're not getting them extremely hot temperatures that we tend to get here in Australia in our summer. So yeah, it's a struggle at this time of year for sure. And we did have the health inspector do his yearly visit through, and we got a 5-star rating from the health inspector. So he had nothing to complain about with our premises, which is good, because last year the health inspector was a bit of a dick, and we just had a couple of course we have 2 kitchens at work. We have our front kitchen, which is a smaller kitchen that we use during the week. So Monday through to Saturday, we use the small front kitchen, which works because it is smaller. We don't and then on a Sunday we use our big back kitchen, which is generally used for any catering and stuff, cooking and that needs to be done during the week for functions. But we use that on a Sunday because it has a bigger grill section and a bigger oven. Well, it's got a couple of ovens, whereas the little front kitchen only has one oven and a small grill and a small deep fryer. So, yeah, it is tiny. But last year, and I mean, we don't use the big back kitchen very often. It's only when we have function work or functions coming up that we have a couple of chefs out there preparing all the function food. And I mean, that's not every day of the week. So it is used more as a storage kitchen than it is anything else. And of course, it has your hand wash basins and all that sort of stuff there. And we just so happen to have a couple of big buckets that we store our flowers in. So we use your big 20-litre, white 20-litre buckets with lids on them to put all of our flowers and sugars and rice and all that sort of stuff in. We had a couple of them sitting under this hand wash basin. Now, we lost points because they were sitting under the hand wash basin. Apparently, you couldn't get to the basin. Well, yeah, you could, because the buckets were sitting under the basin. You could still stand right up against the basin. And when he came in and he said something about the buckets being there, I couldn't help it. I was a bit of a smart ass, and I said to him, well, we don't use this kitchen very often anyway. And they're buckets, dude. Like, they're movable. You can pick them up and move them. And I did. I picked the two buckets up by the handles and I turned around and I placed them out of the road of the out of the sink. But because they were sitting there, we lost points because apparently you couldn't get into the sink, which was a load of baloney because you could get into the sink. You would have to be extremely freaking short not to be able to reach the sink over these buckets. And the lids and everything were on, so you wouldn't be splashing water into the food products or anything anyway. And we don't leave the buckets there when we're using the kitchen. Everything gets moved out. But yeah, so that was last year. This year we passed, we passed last year too, but it was just that because we lost a couple of points because of those niggly little things, we got a 4-star rating and not a 5-star rating. But this year we got the 5-star rating, which was good, because January and February are so quiet. It does give us a good opportunity to get in and deep clean some of them sections that you can't get to when you're busy. Like, you've got some shelves that you may wipe the front of the shelves, but when you're really quiet, you can pull everything off the shelves and wipe them all down and dust them all down. Go and wipe all the architraves along the bottom of the floor, like the walls and stuff like that. So that's generally what we do in January and February, is give the restaurant a really good clean. A really, really good clean. And I mean, obviously we clean during the year as well, but there's sometimes that you just can't get to those deeper jobs that really need to be done. But yeah, so work's work. I nearly quit my job the other day. I don't know. It's really starting to annoy the shit out of me, but it is a job and it pays me, so I am just sticking it out. But yeah, I was really annoyed the other day. Really, let's just say I was pissed off. And I was so close to just walking into the boss and saying, I'm done, I will bring in my resignation letter tomorrow. Even came home and typed out a resignation letter. Left the dates out. um, so I do have that there that I can print it off at any stage and just hand write the dates in. So who knows, this year I could be changing. I don't know if careers. I'll probably still stick with customer service or, well, retail or hospitality. And it's all customer service, and you're dealing with people in both of the jobs. So, you know, but you'd think that people would have, after the whole COVID debacle and being locked up, because basically we were locked up, we weren't allowed to do anything. So basically, yeah, you'd think that people would be more patient and more reasonable, but no, they're not. They're still as rude as ever, and they still think that they're the only ones in the friggin' joint that needs to be for us to service them. Like, you'll get people come in, and there's been people already sitting down at a table, and they've been patiently sitting there because they see that I am the only waitress in the joint for the moment. And yes, that's usually what happens, is I start at 6:30. The next person doesn't start till 9:30, so that's 3 hours of the morning of the breakfast rush. Breakfast of breakfast time that I am working on my own. Now, I am quite capable. There has been times where I have had over 30 people in the cafe for breakfast at any one point, and I'm there on my own. That's okay. As I said, I am more than capable of doing it. But sometimes, just because I am capable of doing it doesn't mean I always want to bloody do it on my own. And this is another reason why I was going to quit, because the staffing situation is just driving me bonkers. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. But yeah, so usually I'm there for 3 hours on my own before the next person logs on, clocks on, whatever you want to call it. So yeah, like, I'll be running around out the front. You have to think that I'm on my own, so I have to serve customers, I have to greet customers, seat them, serve them, get their drinks ready, take their meals to the table, clean the tables when they leave. You know, I've got to do all that on my own, and sometimes I am actually running, like full on. I just got caught on my sometimes I am actually running, and it can get crazy, and yet people still don't care. I'm not serving them fast enough. Like, I had a woman stand at the door the other day, like stand at the door with her dog, trying to get my attention from 5 meters away. While I was running around, she could see that I was running around, that there were people in the cafe. I was on my own. I was running around. I was trying to do drinks. I was getting the kitchen bell when it rang so I could take the meals to the tables. You know, she stood there. I said hello to her and come to the counter so I could actually speak to her while I was making some coffees, but she just walked away. Yes, she had a dog with her, but we have tie-up points outside that you could tie the dog up at the front door and come in. But I don't know, people. I just think that they're the only ones in the world that their time is worth it.
Am I a bit loud?
No, I can't even hear you.
Oh, I'm surprised. Well, you're going to hear me now.
Oh, watch out. We could have an impromptu concert coming through. Please don't sing. No one wants to hear him singing. He sounds like a goose. It's like, oh. He does. I don't know. He doesn't, what can you say? He sort of mumbles and sort of keeps his voice down, like he doesn't enunciate and push his voice out. So, yeah, he sounds like a goose. It's funny as. Anyway, back to what I was saying about people being ignorant and impatient. It's like they think that their time's the only time that is worth anything. And rude to each other, like not just to us as servers, but rude to other customers. So our lunch specials board, which I write up every week or whenever we do new lunch specials, which is usually weekly, but sometimes it's not because we're too busy to get new lunch specials sorted. And I'm the only one that's sort of allowed to write them up on the board because I have the neatest handwriting on the blackboard, which is funny because I am a lefty. So yeah, I'm the only one, and the other ones that one refuses to write on there because her handwriting is atrocious, and the other one, when she does write on there, there's spelling mistakes all through it, and it drives me insane. So yeah, I'm the only one that is allowed to write on the blackboard. Anyway, so we've got a blackboard that stands as tall as I am. It's on wheels, and we usually have 5 to 8 specials a week, which I write on there. Now, when we seat people at a table, we have 2 sections. We have inside and outside. So inside is table service. So if you sit in the restaurant, we will come to the table and take your order at the table, blah, blah, blah. Outside, you do have to come to the counter because we don't know, like people just sit down and we don't know they're out there and then whinge because they didn't bother reading the little sign on the table saying, please place your order at the counter. Anyway, so yeah, if you sit inside, it is table service, and we will give you our main menus, and then we will roll the specials board down to your table, so you don't have to get up and look at them. So this is, yeah, and we will take them down to tables. And of course, people take a little while. They'll take 5 to 10 minutes to decide what they want to order. And you will get the rude a-holes that will walk over to the specials board and spin it around away from the table so they can read it and the people sitting at the table can't read it. Or they'll they won't move the board, they'll just go and stand in front of the board blocking the view of the table. Now, I don't mind people, if they're sitting outside, yes, they want to have a look at the specials board, but have a little bit of respect for the other people that are sitting down with the board in front of them. Don't stand in front of it. Don't turn it away from them. Stand to the side and have a look. You're not the only ones in the restaurant. But yeah, so people drive me insane. Yes, they definitely drive me insane. I feel like making
You still
a...
want to tell me you couldn't hear that?
I could hear that. Feel like making a Facebook group for Australian hospitality workers so we can just vent about all the stupid stuff that customers do. Because it's kind of ridiculous. Alright, so enough venting about work, I think. I think that's enough of me whinging about the people's social skills. So, what else has happened? Let me think. Yeah, probably something not the greatest, but it turned out all right in the end. When I was getting up to go to work last Friday, the partner had got up to go to the toilet, and then he came back up to the bedroom and he said to me, "I think you need to call me an ambulance." Now, he's someone that doesn't go to the doctors very often because, stubborn male and all that. But no, he has a very high pain threshold, which can be dangerous because he could be in severe pain and you wouldn't know about it. But he's not one to make a big deal of something either. Like, he'll just deal with it and get over it. And so when he said he needed an ambulance, I was a little concerned. And of course I was going to start getting ready for work, and I just said to him, and I mean, we live 10 minutes out of town, so by the time I'd rang an ambulance, explained to them what was going on, and they got here and all that sort of stuff, it would have been well over half an hour. Between 30 to 60 minutes it probably would have taken them, because they don't move real freaking quick around here. Even though we're only 10 minutes out of town, it still would have taken them a while to get to us. So I've just said to him, I'm not calling you an ambulance, I will drive you to the hospital, because he was having chest pains and tingling in the feet and heaviness in the chest, so we thought it might have been a heart attack. So I rang the boss. I didn't bother getting ready for work. I rang the boss. I said, sorry, not coming in. Taken the partner to a hospital, and she was fine with that, obviously. Too bad if she wasn't, because that's what I was doing. And so we got him into the car, and we spent 6 hours at the hospital with him going through all these tests and what haven't you. They took him for a chest x-ray. They done a couple of blood tests to test for the, I forget the protein, but the protein that is evident in your bloodstream when you have a heart attack. They done two blood tests to test for that. The first one when he got there, and then another one 2 hours later. And that protein went from a 3 to a 9, which was apparently still in safe category. But what I was concerned about was his blood pressure, because I had the blood pressure monitor and everything on him, and it was sitting at 177 over 110 or 118. It was somewhere around there, which is hypertensive. But they didn't seem too concerned about that blood pressure. So after 6 hours, they released him, told him to go to his GP and get them to organise a blood pressure, 24-hour blood pressure monitor, and a weekly heart monitor. Well, they haven't done anything about the heart monitor as of yet, but he was meant to go in on Wednesday, which was yesterday, and get the blood pressure cuff put on for 24 hours, but they rang and said the one that sets it up was sick, so he couldn't do it. So now they have rescheduled for next week. So we got out of there. He went to the GP. Luckily that the GP had a opening at the time that we were there, so he got straight in to see him, and he put him straight on cholesterol tablets, because they said his cholesterol was high, because when they do your blood tests at the hospital, they run the whole thing. So they put him on cholesterol tablets. He was meant to be on them years ago, but he refused. He said he would do it by diet, and he did stick to it fairly well for a while, and then everything went to bubikaka. So yeah, he went on cholesterol tablets, and they gave him a small dose of blood pressure tablets until they see what the blood pressure monitor says, because they were just wondering if his BP was so high because he was in hospital, and that, like, and it is a thing where your BP will go up higher than what it normally would be, because you don't like hospitals, or you don't like being in doctor's surgeries and stuff like that. So they want to do the monitor to see what his blood pressure does over 24 hours at home in his own environment. So they put him on a small dose of BP medication just to maybe lower it slightly, because they're more concerned about stroke risk than, I think, heart attack risk. So yes, he's on those, and now they also said at the hospital that he could possibly be a type 2 diabetic. because his blood sugars were sitting at around an 8 without him having had anything to eat at all that day. So yeah, that's that is what happened last week. So, but he's been sort of fine since, other than his usual. He's always asking if it's warm or hot, because he always feels over hot, like over hot. And it's no use asking me anymore, because hello, perimenopause. Which is going to be another subject for another Stitch with Me. Let's talk about all the things that happen with perimenopause. Yeah, so, and which is funny, because I'm usually the one that it falls below 26 degrees Celsius and I'm reaching for a light jumper or something, because I'm always cold, but I'm not anymore. I know last year in winter I was running around in a t-shirt and jeans, because I wasn't that cold, because that little internal heater cranks itself up. So yeah, so hopefully things start getting sorted and we figure out what's going on with him. But he gets his blood pressure cuff next week. That's only on for 24 hours, and we'll see what's happening there. He's got to organise an ECG with the cardiologist and do a stress test with the cardiologist. The last time he done a stress test 6 years ago, back in 2000, well, it'll be 7 years ago now, 2018, he passed it with flying colours. He went to the very top level of the stress test without any issues whatsoever, because this isn't the first time this has happened. This happened, and probably worse, back in 2018. So they were, and I mean, you're talking 7 years ago, so what is he? He's 45, 46, yeah, you're talking when he was 38, 39. And they were saying that it looked like he'd had something, which they said shouldn't have been, because he was too young. Happens in older people. But anyway, so yeah, this happened back in 2018, and he was meant to do everything, like diet, change diet and all that. As I said, we went very well for a while, and then it just slipped straight back into old habits. And it's not that we eat unhealthily, it's just that we're lazy, and it's easier to eat something out of a packet than to cook fresh. So yeah, that's now at the point where I am now checking all fats and all that sort of stuff. So, and trying to cut out a lot of red meats, and not that we ever ate a lot of red meat to start with, but yeah. So that is going to be a bit of a change, and hopefully we will stick to it. But anyway, what I was saying was he's got to do this stress test. And his first stress test 7 years ago, he passed it with flying colours. I don't think that's going to happen this time around. One, he's 7 years older. And 2, he has quite a bit of extra weight on him than what he did 7 years ago. He has been saying about getting the rowing machine back out, which would be a good thing for both of us to get on and do a little bit. I gave up on the rowing machine because of my knees. It was starting to hurt my knees too much. But I think if I just get on and only do 5 or 10 minutes every second day on the rowing machine, and then do 10 minutes on my stepper, I think that will I think that might actually work. It won't be too much on my knees, because I was doing 20 to 30 minutes on the rower, and as I said, it was really starting to hurt my knees. I can walk all day on flat ground, all day. I do at work all day, no issues. But you get me going up and downstairs a few times, that's when the issue starts. I can't step up. You know how you usually step up onto a chair or something to get higher, to get something off the top of a cupboard or a fridge or something like that. I can no longer do that with ease. It hurts like a mother trucker. And my left knee in particular, I can no longer sit on the floor with my legs folded underneath me. My right leg, I can fold underneath me. The left leg, can't do it. It hurts. So I am guessing that I will be up for a probably knee reconstruction down the track. So
Ready, everybody? No, actually, I'm not.
What, a little bit of did you just get shy, Nashi? I think he just got what do you call it? Crowd shy. Oh dear, that's funny. All right, you're on. Yeah, so my knees are shot. They are not the best. So I think that's what was happening with the rowing machine, was it was just too much. I think if I stick to only like 5 or 10 minutes on it, and that's all I probably need to do anyway, to start to tone up and maybe lose a little bit of weight, I think that'll work. So yeah, that's that. I was hoping that this year 2025 would be better, but it started out all right. Already this has happened, so I'm just waiting to see what else this year has in store. Hopefully that's the only thing that it's going to throw at us. Would be nice if it is the only thing. I just put that in the wrong spot. There we go. Moved it. So yeah, hopefully that's the only thing that 2025 is going to throw at us. Now, let me see how long I have been chatting away for. Probably about 40 minutes from the looks of my clock over here, but let me just check. Yeah, 45 minutes. Okay, so we got a little bit further along than, it got a little bit longer than what I thought. So, yeah, I haven't